Hello and welcome to a new video. I'm Vanguard and today, we'll be going through the story of Terra from the Kingdom Hearts series. We'll be covering his character, past, current whereabouts and future, which should be quite interesting given the setup of the story so far. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Terra's first appearance in the series in his natural state was in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, which was released in 2010 for the PSP console. He was one of the three main protagonists of the game and was a Keyblade apprentice under Master Ericus, along with his best friends Aqua and Ventus. Terra's name translated from Latin means earth, which shares similar connotations to Riku, which means land in Japanese. Initially his character seems very cool, calm and strong. However, we quickly see his prevalent inner struggles with the darkness and his easily manipulated nature by the enemies. But the core feature to his character are his bonds to his friends. His earliest scenes in the timeline of the story begins in the Land of Departure, his home, where he trains as a Keyblade apprentice along with Aqua under Master Ericus. It is his long-time dream to become one, spending years of his life just to do so. One day, a mysterious person appears known as Master Xehanort, the villain of the series, with the mindless boy who doesn't recall anything from his past. Terra is the first to introduce and welcome himself to Ventus, alongside with Aqua. However, due to Ven's memory loss, he is unable to answer. These three, however, were to soon build a powerful relationship like siblings. Ventus soon became Terra's training partner, and the two built a brotherly bond. And due to the strong influence of Aqua and especially Terra, he aspired for the same dream they did. 4 years later, when the main events of Birth by Sleep occurs, we see the three friends together, the night before the Mark of Mastery commences for the last training session. Upon finishing, Ven and Terra are given wayfinders by Aqua to symbolize their connection. As the scene ends, you as the player are given the option to play one of the three main protagonists. Terra specifically specializes in physical damage with his powerful but slow blows. The next day, the Mark of Mastery to earn the title begins. Both Master Ericus and Xehanort are present to witness the occasion. While Terra passes the first stage in destroying the light orbs, he fails in the combat sparring against Aqua due to his sudden leak of darkness. Terra doesn't take this news well and wonders where the darkness within himself came from. Upon his most emotionally fragile moments, Xehanort decides to strike, manipulating and approving Terra's weaknesses, to which he responds obediently and remembers. Shortly after, Terra is called and informed by Ericus that the 7 Princesses of Hearts are in danger by the Unverse, and that Xehanort has mysteriously disappeared. He is to investigate and eliminate these problems. This mission also serves as an opportunity for Terra to redeem himself. Here we see a short instance of their relationship, where Ericus views Terra as a close student or even son, while Terra very much respects and cherishes his words. Before leaving, Ven meets up with him and attempts to express his worries, however is interrupted by Terra's encouragements, leaving proud and confident. His first trip takes him to Enchanted Dominion, where he meets up with Maleficent and plays right into her hands. Though he became aware that she was the enemy, he wanted to know about Xehanort's state. But upon doing so, she took control of his body, forcing him to extract the heart of Aurora, the sleeping princess. After snapping out of control, he promises Sleeping Beauty that he will get her light back. In the Castle of Dreams, he meets up with Cinderella, who is saddened by the unfortunate events of her dress. After the fairy godmother appears and fixes the situation, Terra comes to understand the importance of a belief of a dream and faith. He helps escort her to the ballroom and later meets up with Aqua and shares what he learned about dreams and Xehanort's quest for pure hearts of light. Aqua informs him that Ven is chasing him and he realizes that he should have stayed to hear what Ventus had to say before. We visit Master Yensid at the Mysterious Tower, who tells Terra to look at the situation of Xehanort and the controller of the Unverse as the same related problem. Terra, going to his next destination, hears Xehanort's voice in the Keyblade graveyard. Here, Xehanort manipulates Terra to justify his actions with lies, that he was merely trying to protect the light from the darkness of Vanitas, playing the victim. He misleads Terra on the creation of Vanitas as a process of trying to save Ventus. He advises Terra to go to Radiant Garden next, as Vanitas will likely strike there. It is here the trio of friends Terra, Ven and Aqua meet through chasing a boss Unverse. Together they take it out successfully and their reunion begins, however it is short-lived. He discovers Ven's involvement with Vanitas and urges him to go home for safety, so Terra can carry out his duties. Aqua questions Terra's actions out of worry, and he realizes that Ericus commanded Aqua to spy on him, taking it the wrong way in terms of distrust. He quickly becomes both angry and hurt, departing from his friends and ignores Aqua's reasoning. Terra now believes Xehanort is the only person he can trust, which puts him in a dangerous position. Terra meets Braig, who has seemingly held Xehanort captive according to his words. Terra comes to his rescue and defeats Braig after receiving encouragement by Xehanort to use his anger and scars Braig with the power of darkness. the evil master begins to further exploit his influence over Terra, referring to him as master, and commends his use of dark powers, offering Terra to become his pupil. Finally, Ven meets up with Terra to join him. He refuses the request, but nevertheless does reassure Ven that he will need him when the time comes. We travel to Disney Town, then to Olympus Coliseum, and save young Hercules from a horde of Unverse. He learns about the games and enters to prove his control over his darkness. Hades tries to use Terra as one of his pawns, however Terra refuses to give in to the darkness. He faces off against Zack, who is possessed by Hades, but is luckily defeated and freed. Terra earns Zack's admiration as a hero he aspires to be. Next he goes to deep space where he meets and frees Dr. Jumper from custody and agrees to rescue Stitch. When rescued, they shortly become friends. However, an alarm sets off announcing their escape, and Terra flees to the Neverlands. No real relevant events occur here. He is tricked by Hook, fights Peter Pan, opposes Hook, and saves the Lost Boys. He realizes Vanitas is not here and leaves to Destiny Island. He meets young Riku and Sora and sees the potential in Riku. He decides that he's worthy of becoming his successor and performs a Keyblade inheritance ceremony. This is a crucial bond they share and sets up for the future events that will happen in Riku's life that parallels to Terra's. Terra travels to the Keyblade graveyard after being called, and Xehanort reveals that Ventus is about to die by the hands of Ericus. Without hesitation, Terra rapidly returns to the land of departure and saves Ven in the nick of time. Terra stands directly against Ericus, who wishes no harm to either of them, but is pushed to kill. After an intense battle where Terra's darkness takes over, Ericus is defeated. Both opponents regret their actions for raising their blades against each other. And suddenly, Ericus is murdered by none other than Xehanort himself. His goals are finally revealed, and the final showdown will take place in the Keyblade graveyard. The land of departure, once a beautiful home, is now in shambles. The three best friends meet together at the graveyard, where their fates are soon to be decided. Terra admits to Aqua that he needed to be watched, and promises not to fall by the hands of darkness again. Ventus soon arrives and talks about facing Vanitas to create the Keyblade. The finale commences as Xehanort and Vanitas appears. A hard-fought battle takes place, but Ventus is seemingly taken out of the clash after being completely frozen. Terra becomes vengeful and attempts to take on both Vanitas and Xehanort. Terra learns about what Xehanort did to Ven all those years back. Vanitas is commanded to kill both Ven and Aqua, and shortly after the Keyblade is formed, and then Master Xehanort unlocks his heart to place it in a younger, stronger body of Terra, whose attempts to fend off against the attack proved useless. Now Xehanort is in full control over Terra's body. However, all is not over just yet. His mind takes form of his discarded Keyblade armor as the Lingering Will, and defeats Xehanort by knocking him out. He fails to reclaim his body, but declares to set things right to his best friends. His next appearance is in the secret episode, where he wanders aimlessly in Radiant Garden. Terra's body is controlled mostly by Xehanort, and fights against Aqua. Terra's heart fights back, forcing Xehanort to lock his heart, leading to his amnesia. In the secret ending Blank Points, the two Xehanort and Terra face off in a body at an unknown time. It is revealed that remnants of Ericus exist in Terra. Together they fight with all their power to suppress Xehanort. That is the story of Birth by Sleep. In Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Fragmentary Passage, he appears on numerous occasions as mere illusions for Aqua. However, in one particular instance, Terra responds to Aqua due to his ties to the darkness. He warns Aqua that Xehanort is in search for Ven, but transforms into Terra Xehanort, who wonders if Ven's whereabouts is in the Chamber of Waking. Once Aqua realizes, Terra tries to suppress Xehanort but is quickly overpowered. But he seemingly overcomes Xehanort in the end, even just for a short period of time. Kingdom Hearts 2 makes brief reference of Terra, Aqua and Ven through Xigbar talking to Sora. Recoded mentions that Terra is one of the lost Keyblade wielders that need to be saved, and his location is currently unknown. He once more appears in Dream Drop Distance in Sora's Nightmare, and is further mentioned by Riku as someone who looks like Ansem, and Mickey who lists Terra as one of the 7 Guardians of Light. But Xehanort reveals that Terra is in his possession and says nothing more on the matter. Now I'd like to discuss the ideas and theories given the setup of the games and his potential future. According to Xehanort, one of the list of people Mickey mentioned as the 7 Guardians of Light, as well as Sora at the time, was actually one of the 13 Seekers of Darkness, implying Terra belonged to Xehanort. Due to the plot elements that were introduced in Dream Drop Distance, it made things a whole lot more complicated in relations to Terra, which is set up to be addressed in Kingdom Hearts 3. We can't be sure what and who exactly Terra takes form of, whether it's Terra Xehanort, Xemnas, someone else, or his very own original form. After taking down both Ansem and Xemnas in the past, the person who should have been revived was Terra Xehanort, so I believe his heart and body resides in that form. I would now like to talk about all the routes that the game can possibly take in regards to Terra. We already know that Kingdom Hearts 3 has set up both the rescuing of Aqua in the Realm of Darkness and afterwards the eventual awakening of Ventus with the help of Aqua in the Chamber of Waking. We also know that there will be another playable character in the game, which could very well be Riku. I believe the first instance we could see Terra in KH3 is in the Realm of Darkness either as Riku or in a cutscene. As two critically important people to Terra, Riku and Aqua will gather together in a single place that he'll be able to access due to his ties to the darkness like he did before in Fragmentary Passage. He may give clues and information about the enemy that we don't know about, and this will mark the first time both Terra and Riku have met in over a decade. From there, the game can choose two main routes to go. The first is going on a mission to rescue Terra somehow, as both Ven, Aqua and even Riku would have motivation to do so. I believe the story will inevitably attempt to explore this idea, as it will be uncharacteristically weird for his friends not to try at all. At the bare minimum, there should be discussion amongst the cast and even arguments. They could go two ways with reaching him, the first of which is taking out one of the 13 Seekers of Darkness whose body Terra resides in a particular point in the game, whether it be Terra Xehanort, Xemnas or Terra himself, to add to the list of members of the 7 Guardians of Light. If this is the case, he will be able to provide essential data to take down Xehanort. The problem with this idea is that it will leave the Seekers of Darkness with the members short for the final face-off, and the battle between the 7 Light and 13 Darknesses would have begun before the correct numbers of members are set. The more likely option, in my opinion, I think, is fighting Terra as either Riku, Aqua or Ventus in the final showdown, which probably takes place at the Keyblade Graveyard. Riku to fight Terra makes a lot more sense in my opinion, as Riku has finally overcame his struggles, while Terra is still lost. This could make a very emotional and epic battle between successor and predecessor to guide him back to the light. Another idea to restore him could be related to his presence in the Realm of Darkness and the Lingering Will, but that's just an idea that I'm throwing out there. However, the route I would like to see take place and would make more sense in my opinion is actually not to rescue Terra directly. Obviously Ven and Aqua will make some attempt once they are safe and alive, however possibly someone like Yen Sid would advise them against saving Terra due to the little knowledge they have. They should focus instead on protecting the Princesses of Hearts, stopping Xehanort's plans, and taking the Seekers of Darkness down. The reason why I believe Terra is beyond help is because the setup of his rescue has been extremely vague in comparison to Ven and Aqua, and that he's already a part of the new Organization 13. His situation is dire, but I do believe he will be a necessary ally nonetheless. I'd like to reference Blank Points, where Xehanort and Terra confront each other. Terra is fearless in his words against the villain, and says whatever the cause, I'm willing to pay for it, when referring to his resistance against Xehanort. And in Birth by Sleep in the ending of Terra, he vows to set things right between his friends, which are examples of his character development. However, now he is one of the pawns of Xehanort, which kind of regresses the progress he has made. I do believe that Terra could be acting as an indirect spy, or awaiting for his moment to strike with the little influence over his body that he has. From what we know, the story has set up in Blank Points for a potential sacrifice that Terra may have to make to take down the enemy, which could be a fine way to show development and to close off his story. Yes, I am suggesting that he may die or at least have to give something up, as it is a common complaint that barely anyone stays dead in the series, and he really is far too deep in enemy territory to come out unscathed. This would provide a dramatic moment in the game to give Xehanort a real sense of threat. There could still very much be a battle between him and Riku to bring some sense into his life after being possessed for so long, before carrying out his betrayal against Xehanort. I understand that the story has hinted many times that he is one of the many people who need saving, however simply freeing him and defeating Xehanort might be enough to save him whether he'll be alive at the end or not. In whatever way they decide to approach these routes, I feel strongly that the following points and setup need to be addressed. The first is the reunion between Terra and his successor, Riku. I think that Terra needs to see the growth of the boy that he met all those years back, even if it's under bad circumstances where Terra is possessed. The second is reuniting with Aqua and Ven, because it's literally been over a decade since they've physically been in each other's presence. I feel that something needs to be said between them at some point to completely set things right as he said before. Next is whether or not he'll be a Guardian of Light or an enemy. And finally, who, where, what does he exist as right now, and what is he currently doing? Terra was my personal first playable character in Birth by Sleep in 2010, and I really liked him. It was only a couple of years later when I paid attention to the story that I realized that he was sometimes painfully gullible and wasn't the most intelligent. Nonetheless, I still enjoyed his character for his overall motive and purpose with overcoming his weaknesses and his love for his companions at the end of the day. He might have not lived up to the hype of the Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix secret ending, but I'm fine with that. I really hope Kingdom Hearts 3 does his character justice and properly portrays his development that has certainly occurred after being controlled all these years. I would also like to add that he is one of the most epic theme songs, and Yoko Shimomura absolutely amazed me when I first listened to it. So that about wraps up this video on the story discussion of Terra. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Thank you all for watching, until next time, I'll see you later.